Welcome to Epic Stories. Isadora led them into a drawing room that had once been grand, but now wore the faded elegance of a family too proud to let time show. The wallpaper, once a regal green, had begun to peel at the corners. Heavy velvet curtains kept the light at bay, and a large fireplace loomed unlit, though the chill in the air begged otherwise. Above the mantel hung a portrait of a man with striking features, a sharp nose, piercing eyes, and a mouth held in such sternness that even in paint he seemed capable of judgment. Hastings looked up at it and cleared his throat. "That him?" he asked. Isadora followed his gaze. "Yes, my brother, Ambrose Wetherell, the last of the Wetherell men." Her voice held a brittleness, as if it had been rehearsed too many times, or perhaps barely held together. "He was found at the foot of the East Wing stairs. They say he fell, but Ambrose did not fall. He feared this house too much to be careless in it." Poirot did not speak at once. He moved with slow precision toward the fireplace, glancing over the portrait, the room, the way the dust had settled on some objects and not others. There were signs, small ones, that something had recently disturbed the space. A chair that faced the wrong direction, a missing book from an otherwise perfect row, a faint trail in the carpet half swept away. Poirot noticed everything and said nothing. Yet. "Mademoiselle," he finally said, "you say your brother feared this house. What do you mean by that exactly?" Isadora's lips parted, but for a moment she did not answer. She walked to the window, pulled back the curtain just enough to let in a sliver of gray daylight. "There are things you must understand," she said. "This house was not meant to be inherited. It was meant to be forgotten. My great-grandfather built it after the war. A recluse, obsessed with silence. He believed that silence healed the soul. But what he built was not peace. It was a trap." "A trap, mademoiselle?" Poirot raised an eyebrow. "There are rooms that have not been opened in decades, doors that lock from the inside, corridors that lead nowhere. We used to hear noises at night, footsteps on the third floor, even though no one was allowed there. Ambrose heard them too, and after our housekeeper passed, he insisted no one sleep in the East Wing. He said the house spoke to him." Poirot turned, his expression unreadable. "Did he say what it told him?" Isadora shook her head. "Only that the screams had returned. That's what he called them. Screams you cannot hear. Screams in the silence. The morning he died, the maid swears she heard someone walking past her room just before dawn, but no one else was in the wing." Hastings shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "What about the police? Surely they investigated?" "They came, declared it an accident. Ambrose had a history of fainting spells, they said. He slipped, hit his head, but he never entered the East Wing. Alone, not after what happened to father." Poirot's head tilted slightly. "Your father? He too died in the same stairwell. Almost 20 years ago. Also ruled an accident, but he was a soldier, strong and careful. He would never have fallen without reason." Poirot walked to the window where Isadora stood. Outside, the sea crashed violently against the rocks, but here inside, all was still. "Mademoiselle," he said, "you have brought me to a house that holds many ghosts, not of the supernatural kind, but of the past. I must ask you something with complete seriousness. Do you believe your brother was murdered?" She turned to him, her expression hardening into something resolute. "Yes," she said, her voice low and certain. "And I believe the murderer is still in this house." Poirot turned slowly and let his gaze sweep across the walls once more. The air seemed thicker now. He could feel the tension under the surface, like a tightly drawn string. Somewhere in this great crumbling mansion, a secret was buried. Someone had taken a life, and someone else, perhaps, was waiting in silence for it all to be buried again. Poirot straightened his cuffs, his tone as calm as ever. "Then we must not waste time. Mademoiselle, I would like to see the body, the stairwell where it was found, and to speak to everyone who remains under this roof." Isadora nodded, her hands tightening into fists at her side. "You'll find them unusual. We are not a normal household, Monsieur Poirot." Poirot allowed himself a small smile. "No household is normal, mademoiselle, especially one with silent screams.